Earlier this week, I participated on a webinar by Peter Diamandis, who is the author of the book, The Future is Faster Than You Think. And in that conversation, he talked about something called OpenAI's GPT-3, and that's an artificial intelligence that basically you can say something and then it will build a story off. And then I got this letter from Jeff Brown, and it was talking about deep minds and how deep minds had developed AlphaFold, and I was aware of that. And AlphaFold actually is an AI that they've actually tested in jet fighters, and the AI can fly the fighter better than a pilot can. And then it also decoded 200 million proteins that is going to affect our medical system. And now it's talking about AlphaCode, which is going to basically make you and I computer programmers. This is where the world is going. This is where the world of artificial intelligence is going, and you and I need to explore it further.
Best of Us Investors presents Carrie Griegmeyer.
I'm recording this video on Thursday, December the 15th, and the stock market is taking a big hit. The NASDAQ is down about 3%, and one of the stocks that is down substantially is Google. I did a video a couple of days ago in which I looked at my growth portfolio, and I tried to establish some target prices, and I put a target price on Google of $100 a share, and today it's down to $90 a share. And I want you to write these names down. DeepMind. DeepMind is an English company that's owned by Google. This is a group of people who are deep into artificial intelligence and where it's going to play a part. And they came up with a program that they called AlphaFold. And it basically, the first thing it did was it basically sequenced or organized the structure of 200 million proteins. And what that means to you and I is this is going to make it easier for pharmaceutical companies to control the development of pharmaceutical drugs and vaccines and things of that nature. And one of the side consequences, I believe, of globalization is now we are exposed to anybody and everybody's diseases, from China to South Africa to India to Russia, because everything is now connected. It used to be we only had to worry about our own relatives and neighbors and workers, but now we can be infected by a bat from Wuhan, China. And the importance of what DeepMind and their AlphaFold, by organizing these 200 million proteins, is far-reaching, and it has a lot more to do with the future and artificial intelligence than it does interest rates or inflation, and those things will take care of themselves. Well, AlphaFold then basically went on and created AlphaCode. What AlphaCode is it's the second phase of AlphaFold, and it's basically going to cue into something that I was telling you last week about. Peter Diamandis mentioned that in the future, every profession will have a AI co-pilot. That is to say that I, as a professional, if you will, YouTuber, I'm going to have the access to artificial intelligence that will probably take my stuttering, and not my stuttering, but my pausing, and speed up and maybe even correct my mispronunciation of words, and that will be a part of what I am able to do. It will, in essence, in the letter then I got just today from Jeff Brown talking about DeepMind and AlphaCode, basically says that I'm going going to become a computer software programmer. And that is to say, I know nothing about code. I've never studied it. I've never known anything about it. But because I will be able to have my co-pilot, who is very knowledgeable, and this co-pilot is somebody who lives on my computer and is very knowledgeable about code and can take the little bit that I might ask. I might say, hey, I'm building my website, Best of Us Investors Out, to be a financial advisor because normal people don't have access to a financial advisor because their system is structured to charge them based on their assets under management. So if somebody only has $25,000, no financial advisor is going to talk to them. But with my co-pilot and my website, you will be able to come and say, okay, based on my situation, and you'll input data, and my goals of to fund my children's college education, to fund my retirement, to protect my wife and I from disability as well as from one of us death. What is my best movements in the stock market, and what are the programs, and what's the tax benefits, and all that will all be available through my website, because I have this co-pilot who's affiliated with Google's AlphaCode #2, and that's the way it'll work. So as I sit here and I see that I figured the target price for Google was $100 a share, and today, because of something that Jerome Powell said yesterday, it's down to 90. Is it a buy? I think it is, but what's holding me back is it may go to 80 if Jerome Powell says something else next week or tomorrow. So we've got to make some decisions, and we've got to make some informed decisions. I can't wait till I get my AlphaCode co-pilot so that these decisions are a little bit easier to make. But I want you to know this is what's right around the corner. What we have been able to do, the fact that I can go to Google and ask it any question that I want. All I have to do is talk into my phone and ask it a question, and this female voice comes back and gives me the answer. We're going to look at that in 3 years and say, "Whoa, wasn't that antiquated?" Then look what I can do now. I can build this whole website out, and think of what that'll do to the employment world. There's a shortage right now of programmers. Well, every one of us will become a programmer because of AI. So don't get hung up. It hurts me to see my portfolio down almost 50% from where it was 2 years ago. But that was self-inflicted. That's self-inflicted as a result of the coronavirus. Also, recognize our world is going through a change. I just got a call from my younger brother who had just got out of the hospital. It looks like his cancer's coming back. And he was telling me, he said, I sat for 4 hours in a chair. I had blood clots, he said, and it was messing me up. And he said, I sat for 4 hours before I could see a doctor because there's nobody to work in the hospitals. He said, I had a test that an MRI or a CAT scan, they did it at 10 o'clock at night because that's the only time they could get me in because the hospitals are so overcrowded. We've got problems. And when there's a problem, what that facilitates is a solution. And so you have to ask yourself, what are the problems and who's going to come up with the solutions? Again, I hope you wrote down Deep Minds. Write down AlphaFold2. That's owned by DeepMind. Write down AlphaCode 2. Write down OpenAI GPT-3. These are all artificial intelligence mechanisms that are going to become or will become available to us, and they're going to change our world. So have faith And if this is the kind of knowledge you want, the best place to get it is to come join our Discord and join me tomorrow. I'll do a stock talk after the close of the market, and we'll talk about this. This will be probably my number one point of conversation is what is Google doing? What is Microsoft doing? What is Apple doing relative to artificial intelligence? And how can we profit off of it? Okay. I guess that's all I got to say about that subject, but I'll probably have something else to talk about tomorrow.